Hello, hello, everyone. We are live for Positive Talk 189. Hopefully, you all are having a good day. Hello, hello. Pulling people in. It is Valentine's Day. Hope all of you are having a good Valentine's Day. Happy holiday. So let's see if we can pull him in really quick. There we go. It is also a Monday. We survived, made it through Monday. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Got some fans going on in my apartment because
One
my
second. 1 second. Sorry.
sink flooded.
There we go.
Putting a hat on. Oh, so how are you this wonderful Valentine's Day?
I'm good. I'm good. Just a little busy running around, but getting things done, being productive. And you?
Same. I helped a friend move this weekend, so I just got back to my apartment and getting stuff taken care of here.
Where are you right now? Where are you staying right now?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia, so
Oh, Virginia. Okay.
yeah. Celebrating
How's
single.
the weather there?
Well, we had quite a bit of snow yesterday, and I was driving through it with my friend while I was helping her move. So it's quite cold, and it's sad because like we had some really beautiful days before. It was like in the 70s, and then it dropped into the 20s.
Okay, so it's like the summer and winter at the same time.
Yes. Summer in my apartment though today. Got short sleeves and shorts on, so I'm good to go.
Sounds good. I've
Well,
never been to Virginia before.
it's it's beautiful. We've got mountains, which I absolutely love. It's very green here, which I love. When I traveled out west, that was one of the things I realized that doesn't exist so much in a lot of spaces. So I definitely appreciate the greenness of our state.
Yeah.
I
Well,
know,
soon I'll have to put it on my bucket list to go and visit that site.
do it. I will give you a tour.
Thank you.
I know that you and I have done a positive talk before, but I'll let you introduce yourself again so that people know who you are, and then we can kind of jump into a discussion if you'd like.
Okay. So my name is Rowan Summers. I work as a professional artist here in Mexico City. I'm from Namibia, but I live in Mexico City at the moment. I'm going for 5 years right now. I can't believe it, but it's been 5 years. I work, when I say professional artist, I work mostly as a singer-songwriter, model, and actor. And then I also do business within these industries, mostly in the music industry, where I do a lot of marketing as well with regards to Spotify and YouTube, where I promote your YouTube channel. I get you playlist placements on Spotify, promote your Spotify channel, and a couple of other stuff as well within the music, like admin stuff. And then at the same time, like I also work as a songwriter for my music and for other artists if they're interested, and then a singer professionally. And I'm right now at the, I would say, at the intermediate stage of playing the piano. I started playing 4 years ago, and yeah, I'm no longer a beginner. I think I'm intermediate right now.
Love that.
And basically about, oh my God, it's been a while. About 7 years ago, I graduated as a chemist in my country. I studied chemistry and biochemistry for, like, I have a bachelor's degree in biochemistry and chemistry, so I've got that in my history as well. But I'm not actually working as that full time, even though I'm still using the knowledge, but I'm not working that as that profession full time. So that's basically who I am. And
Awesome.
I speak three languages. I speak English, Afrikaans, which is my mother language, and I speak Spanish as well because I've been staying here for almost 5 years now. So I've learned the language, not fluently, but they understand me and I understand them. And I can defend myself, I can get around.
That's, I mean, full immersion into culture and language is the best way I've heard to kind of do that. I wish I had studied like Spanish a little bit more. Like I took it in high school and then never used it, and it just lost. It's gone. I can read it, but once people start speaking, like it's so fast for me, my brain doesn't translate quick enough.
It just takes time. Like in the beginning as well, I struggled because they've got a lot of verbs happening there, and they've got a male and a female version for every object in this world. So that was kind of difficult to understand as well and learn. I'm still struggling with that, but yeah, the brain is a little bit quicker now because like if you feed the brain constantly, um, or if you feed the brain information constantly, like at one point it will pick it up and it will understand it. But all that I say is like I guess my advantage was that I'm here with the people I'm working here, so it's yeah, it kind of forced me to learn the language faster. And the language is always around me, so I hear it all the time when I go to the supermarkets, everywhere. Everything is in Spanish. So yeah, I just had to, because so sometimes Google Translate won't help you.
Yeah. Yes. I've used Google Translate multiple times on like comments on my pages or in real life when people are like standing right in front of me, and it doesn't always translate the clearest, that's for sure. So I feel like since it is Valentine's Day, and I feel like this is like a day where a lot of people are either celebrating Valentine's Day and the relationships they are in. There are people who are also celebrating Singles Awareness Day. I I personally I'm not the biggest fan of this holiday, mainly because I just think that if I love someone, I'm going to celebrate that love every single day of the year and not just on
Exactly.
Valentine's Day. Um, but I think that the most important thing that people need to realize is like self love. I think that even if you aren't in a relationship today, like celebrate yourself. Like, I think that that's the issue in the world right now is it's not that there's not enough love, it's the fact that there's not enough self-love in this world. Like we try to give to so many people, and I think a lot of people will give because they want to receive it in return, but what they should be practicing is loving themselves, because when you start doing that, like you automatically start giving more to the world in that way.
If you had to like use a metaphor for that, I think Oprah said it, equivalent to a cup. Like fill up your cup first before you start giving to someone else. Because if your cup is empty, you can't give anything else to someone else. And it's just like you said, that comes from self-love, like respecting and loving yourself, and having moments to yourself every single day as well, in order for you to get to know yourself, to know what your weaknesses and strengths are. And I guess through that method, like you'll be able to fill up your cup, and that way, when your cup is overflowing, you can give to someone else as well, because you also can't give what you don't have.
Yeah. I think that when it comes to our ability to love ourselves, the way that we love ourselves is the way that we ask other people to love us. So it's almost like a love contract. So like if you
Love
hate
contract.
yourself, like, and then you're asking other people to love you, what you're showing them is this is how I love myself, and that's how someone else will interpret it. And even if you try to love someone who hates themselves, it doesn't translate to them as love because they don't understand how to love them. So when someone else is loving them, it will come across like unauthentic and not real because it doesn't make sense to them because they don't know how to do it themselves.
I think addressing that point that you just said, it really comes down to what happened during your childhood, how you were showed love during your childhood from your parents, from your siblings, from your other family members, from your friends. And I guess, like they say, between when you were born and up to 7 years, that is where the subconscious mind is basically made up of. Like during those 7 years, and how you were showed love during those 7 years is how you see love as you grow up as an adult. However, there is hope. You can change your subconscious mind there. Like if you just do a lot of research, there's a lot of ways on how you can change your subconscious beliefs about love. I actually I went through that. I went through that and I did it. I won't say that I'm completely changed, but I realized it, and I did that through being conscious and mindful the whole time. And that way, when someone else, for example, my partner or a friend or a business partner or a work colleague would do something that would change my feelings towards depression, anxiety, or sadness, I would realize it immediately. Yeah, because like through consciousness, you realize that, and then you be able like, okay, why did I feel that way, and why am I allowing this? So I guess it comes really down to your childhood and how love was, how you were loved during your childhood, and if if you could figure that out, like if you were shown good love as a child, well done. It's like wow, your parents deserve an award or whoever was with you. But unfortunately, if you're shown love in an awkward, a strange way, yeah, don't blame your parents as well because maybe that's how they were shown love as well. And it's up to you. Like if you realize that, you can change or break the cycle there and change it for your kids and the future generation.
Yeah. And it's funny because I just recently went through a seminar and like looking at the way my mother showed love and the way that my mother was and then the way that my father was, there's a lot of things that I didn't like about both of them and how they showed love. And unknowingly, I adopted those habits that I tried so hard not to like about them, but I adapted them into my own like method of what love was. And it took kind of stepping back and realizing that we're all flawed. There are better ways to kind of accept love. Because for me, I I thought that I truly loved myself, but I didn't truly like go down deep. Like there were parts of me that were still down there that were unloved by me. And I think that my brain thought that the only way to kind of fix that was get someone else to look at it and love it first. But the contract that I signed was this part of me is unlovable, and then therefore even trying to get someone else to love that was impossible. And it's crazy what we reject out of our lives, because if you were raised in a family that love was unhealthy, it wasn't like a good healthy type of love that prospered and made you feel good, when you actually get into a relationship and there's healthy love, you reject it because it doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel right. But then when you find someone who maybe is abusive, or you find someone who makes you feel bad about yourself, if that was something you're used to, that's comfortable. It's not healthy, but it's comfortable. And you would rather feel that than be with someone who makes you, who loves you more than you're able to love yourself. Because you're like, something's wrong with this person. They're like clingy, they're loving me too much. And it's because you
I'm not
haven't been
used
able
to
to
this.
accept it.
Exactly, it's you. You've got a good point there. Like really just comes down to what happened in your childhood, and you take that habits from your parents and your siblings, and you pass it on to your partner. But there are partners that show you, like just like you said, that show you what real love is. That made you realize that oh my God, like this is actually how love is supposed to feel. Like I've never felt this before. And then in the beginning, it comes down to the subconscious beliefs. Like naturally, what happens in our subconscious mind when something we're taught something that goes against it, our body rejects it. Our mind rejects it because we don't know it. But then if you realize that okay, this is actually this makes me feel good, and I could have this every single day, and then that's where you can change it. Then you allow it and you accept it. And as well, where you said about yourself as well, where there were parts of yourself you didn't love. I guess as well, you can do it alone, or you can also do it in a relationship. It depends on the partner, where you come down to radical self-acceptance. And yeah, there are things that you can change about yourself, and there are things that you cannot change. Like, it's just things where you just have to, you can improve it, but there's just things where, like, if we say maybe something like, for example, let's just say if you're a shorter person, you want to be a taller person because, like, you feel like that is what society loves. That's what society finds attractive. Well, just accept that that's your height. That's radical self-acceptance, because, like, you can't change that. But then there are other stuff that you can change, like bad habits that you keep on repeating in your relationship. And weight, you can change. If you have a problem about your weight, and you can change your weight, like, so yeah, basically just that radical self-acceptance, and that way you will be learn to love yourself. Because, I mean, like, you cannot use my flaws against me, because I already accepted my flaws. Like, I know, and I'm working on them as well. It's not like I've accepted it and, like, yeah, I'm like this, and just accept me that way. No, I'm like this, and it's my weakness, but I'm working on it every single day. And uh, please help me as well. Make me realize, like, when I make the mistake. And I guess communication is very important as well in love, in relation, in any kind of relationship in life. Communication is very important, and respect. And I guess as well, if you know what your love languages are, like, if you know your love languages, if you know your partner's love languages, it can really help the relationship. Like, the love can really flourish within a relationship if you guys know your love languages as well. It's very important.
Yeah. I think that when you have like things that, because I tell people you have to love everything about yourself. You don't have to love yourself to the point that you don't change and try to be a better person every single day. But like, you can look at yourself and be like, you know what? Who I am right now got me here to this point. And who I am now and who I am working on bettering myself to be is going to get me to the next part of my life. And once you've accepted and loved yourself for everything that like you are, people can't use that against you. So like, when it comes to knowing your worth, like, it first starts with loving every part of yourself and knowing that you are worth any type of love. And when people try to use something against you, say you're short, like you were using the example, like, if you already love that about yourself, it doesn't hurt when someone says that.
Exactly.
You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm short.
I
Like, that's
know.
who I
I
am.
live with myself every day. I know that. And yeah. Okay. I tell me something I don't know. You, like, put humor. You can put humor in the situation as well.
Yeah, and it's so interesting when people, like, it's nice to kind of know those triggers, the things that, like, you don't like when someone says it and it hurts. Like, if someone goes, you're short, and a part of you goes, ouch, that means you haven't like radically accepted that part about yourself yet.
Exactly.
And there's room for you to grow, and it doesn't happen overnight. Like, it's something that you have to, like you were saying with language, like, you have to flood your brain with those positive thoughts of self-love so much that it impacts your subconscious mind to start believing that, and it stretches you to the point of learning to love yourself in a way that maybe you've never been able to do before because of the journey you've been on with all the influences you had at a younger age.
Yeah. It's radical self-acceptance. I've been on this journey now for quite some time, and I must say it really changed me. And yeah, it's just opened up a lot of doors for myself. I'm more at peace with myself, and yeah, nobody can use anything against me, because, like, I know my strengths and I know my flaws, my weaknesses, so you cannot use it against me. And if I subconsciously, because sometimes, like, I try to be conscious all the time, but there are sometimes where I might lose it, where, like, it could be busy, or I might lose consciousness for a moment, and I might repeat a bad habit that I would not like to repeat. And I would appreciate people that tell me that, because like you know, if you got a big ego, you will never learn. Like you always have to go through life being a student every single day. And I appreciate people that tell me like, I didn't appreciate what you did there because of this and this and that. And I was like, okay, thank you for telling me. I won't get angry for you for telling me that when I did something wrong. And don't get me wrong, it was quite a mission, that for myself in the beginning as well, in every aspect of my life and all the relationships in my life, because the ego is such a big problem as well. Like getting over your ego, but then once you get over your ego, it's you. There's big things that could happen for yourself with regards to love and success and everything in your life. So yeah, just take it day by day, and yeah, accept yourself for who you are. And if you accept yourself for who you are, like the other person will even find you attractive for that. Like nobody can use your flaws against you, because like, yeah, I know that. Like you're telling me something that I know.
Yeah.
You cannot use it against me. I'm fine. Yeah. It's almost like, and then you know, when you start getting to a point where you put humor into the situation, there are stages as well during this the radical self-acceptance. It has stages where you start accepting yourself, and then when somebody points out your flaws, you're quiet. Yeah, you're just quiet. There's the first stage where you lash out. You lash out in whichever way that's in accordance to your nature. And then there's a second stage when you start like accepting more. You start breaking that subconscious beliefs through repetition, like telling yourself this is how you want to be, and then just enforcing it onto your subconscious mind every single day. And then it comes to a point where you just like, when someone uses your flaws against you, you start smiling. It's like, okay, and it doesn't even affect you anymore. And it comes to a point where, for example, during this live, you put some humor into it, and you're like, yeah, you cannot use it against me anymore. I've accepted it, and I'm working on it as well. It's not like I'm just here like, okay, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. I can still try to improve it as well if it's improvable.
Yeah. I think that some people, like when it comes to the journey of self-acceptance, like at some point they have to like convince themselves that exactly who they are is just perfect and exactly like they're supposed to be this person. But then there's like that negative, like when it comes to believing you're so perfect that you don't have flaws. Like that's the part where it becomes a little tricky, because yes, you are perfect the way you are, but that doesn't mean that you don't, like, your flaws are also part of that perfect image. And when people point those out, like once you've loved yourself and you love yourself enough to say I'm not perfect, I'm perfectly flawed, and when people
That's a
share
nice one.
that, you love that part about yourself as well, and it doesn't hurt you. Because I think that there's like the toxic level of loving yourself to the point where you think you are unflawed, and anyone who tries to help you grow is attacking your perfect self. And like for me, I enjoy when people want to help me grow, and when people point things out to me, I will listen. And there are some things where I'm like, well, you just don't know me well enough, but thank you for your input. That's not useful for me. And then other people will say something where I'm like, oh, that might be a little room for me to grow. This might be a journey I need to take myself on. And you get to choose that. And understanding that if you get offended when people point out your flaws, then you haven't gotten there yet. Like, you haven't loved yourself for the imperfections that all human beings on this entire planet have. And a lot of times, the things that we see in other people, the things that we're critical of other people, means that is something we don't love about ourselves. So, like,
Exactly.
if I see someone else and I'm like, oh my God, they're so this, we need to turn it around and be like, what part of me is that? Because if you love that part of yourself, you wouldn't see it in other people as a negative. We only see negative things in other people that exist within us that we don't like about ourselves.
I guess as well that that is the journey to self-love and radical self-acceptance is the like working on the negative part of ourselves, like the that part in your brain that the other voice, that the negative voice that always like um, tells that you can't do it, it's not possible, or you don't deserve it. Like I've become, I once an expert, but I've become very very like you know strong with regards to that voice. When that voice starts speaking to me, I'll be like, what are you saying? Like, I'm shutting it down immediately because I saw, I think it was Oprah that said this as well, where there's like this 15-second rule where if you allowed a negative thought to run in your mind or to go through your mind for more than 15 seconds, it creates another negative thought. And it creates another negative thought. And the next thing it produces hormones that make you anxious, depressed, and sad, depending on what the thought was about. And the next thing, yeah, you're in another state of mind, and you have to like it will be a struggle to get out of that state of mind. So immediately when you realize that there's something negative happening there, like about any situation, kill that thought immediately. Kill it. Like it's because it's not gonna help you. But it's not that easy as well. It takes some time. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of consciousness to be able to get to that level. But just in the end, that you would know that a negative thought really does not help you. Like it just takes you to a place where you don't want to be, and it will just be. It's better just to be in a better mood and to focus on positive thoughts. Like you can do it. How can you do it? It's not like it's impossible. How can I do it? And get a notepad and a pen and start writing down the plans and then start executing, and then yeah, I think that could be the way for you to like just keep the positive momentum flowing. And it
Yeah.
happens as well in relationships as well. In love, it happens where you say that you you wake up and your partner made breakfast for you, and then you guys had breakfast, and then you went off to work, and then there's this message coming in at work. How's everything going? Or that surprise call, like just checking up. Or you come home, like maybe I don't know how relations, all the relations with everyone in the world works, but let me just speak, for example, what happened in my relationship, for example, where like there would be turns, maybe, for example, today, like I'll do breakfast and you'll do lunch, or if someone worked and was not in house, someone would do the dinner, for example. So I sorted out breakfast and it was all good, and then I would come home and then dinner would be waiting, and there would be like conversations throughout the day about like what would you like to eat, or I'm thinking of cooking this. Good communication, and you're like, okay, it's like I'm not used to this, like this feels strange, like, and then you be like, no, but this is love. This is what love is all about. This is real love. Like, embrace it and feel it and go with it. Like that is that is what you deserve. And then there's that voice. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. Like you're like, take that voice, and it's like, why do you think I don't deserve this? Like I deserve this. And then you shut that voice down within 1 second. It doesn't even have to go for 15 or 2 seconds, 1 second. You're like, yeah, I deserve this. Like I deserve to come home to a cooked meal waiting for me, like just perfectly timed. Like when I get home, like it's just about to come out. Like whatever it is, it's just those things can happen. So
Yeah.
love.
It's interesting because I was talking to one of my friends about when it comes to the word cockiness. It's like they say like there's people who are confident and then there's people who are cocky, and that there's a fine line between the two. And I was like, I don't believe cockiness is actually existing. I don't think there's such a thing. I think that we label someone as cocky because they love themselves more than we love ourselves, and we don't understand that person's realm of being, because to us, if you don't love yourself, that comes off very cocky. And people are so afraid of accepting like a compliment, Like you'll say, you have really beautiful eyes. Oh, no, I don't. Like we'll throw compliments away because if we go, well, thank you, I know I do. They're like,
No.
they're like, oh, you're cocky. And someone refuses to accept a compliment because they're afraid of coming off as cocky. So we have trained our brains to not accept compliments or anything that builds us up because we have trained our brains to think if we accept too much and we let the world know that we are worthy of love, that we will be labeled as cocky people. But the truth is, there's no such thing as cocky. There are people who know how to accept and just absorb that love from people, and they know that they are worthy of it, versus the people who can't and will not accept love, and they think that that is like better than being cocky. But what you're doing is you're not allowing yourself to understand what it feels like to be loved and love yourself and know you are worthy of every compliment that you are given. And it's so crazy how many people you can literally say, oh my God, I love your muscles. And someone will be like, oh, they're small. Like I could do a lot more. And they just destroyed it. They don't accept that compliment at all. And people have got to get to the point where you go, thank you. I've been working really hard on them. That's all you have to say. Like, we don't need
Or
to know
yeah,
that you're not where you want to be.
or like a simple thank you. And
Yeah.
then what could work as well, but it should come naturally, is at the same time find something to compliment the other person about as well. Uh, Anything that you could see or that you could find or that captured your attention, that could also work. I mean, because like I mean, taking the time in your day to literally just compliment someone about something about themselves will make the day of this other person as well, and it will make your day as well.
And listen to the language that people use to compliment you, because a lot of times the compliments we give are what we probably wish we received as well. Like the languages we use are so tied into who we are. It's so easy to, like, people wonder how like someone that does life coaching is able to communicate so well with multiple different people. And it's like what we do is we pretty much just hold a mirror up and just repeat it right back to you. So if someone is complimenting your looks, that is something that they would receive as a compliment as well. But like the biggest issue in this world isn't giving love. Like I think that so many people are so tied to the thought that there's not enough love in this world. That's not true. Like there is so much love in this world, but it's the accepting of it that's the problem. No one can accept it. Like there are very few people in this world who actually can take a compliment and believe it and accept it and enjoy the feeling of being loved by someone else. They always have to spin it back around or throw it down in the mud and destroy the compliment. But like very few people can have someone go, I love you, and they just go, I accept that. Like we aren't taught to accept that about things. So like we are taught to divert, we are taught to tear down, we are taught to throw it back at them so that we don't have to fully accept the compliment ourselves. And it's just, that's where the pain lies. Like the world has so much love to give. There are people giving it every single day. But I think the reason there are so many people who seem so happy that end up committing suicide, it's because they are giving love because they are hurting and they don't want anyone else to hurt like them. But when love is given back to them, they don't receive it. They will take the love and be like, oh, you gave me a nice word, give it to someone else. They don't give it to themselves. And what you were talking about before with like the positive, like don't give the negative any time in your brain because it will produce more. I'm not telling people to, if someone screams at you and calls you a dirty name, to look at them and go, I love you. Like, you don't have to do that. But guess what you can do? you can listen to that hateful word and then turn to someone that you do love and go, I love you. Ignore them. Like, you don't need to love them. They don't love themselves. They won't be able
Exactly.
to accept your love anyway. Because someone who loves themselves would never say something hateful like that in the first place. So turn around to someone. Like, I train my brain because work days suck sometimes. I trained my brain to call someone that I love and have a positive conversation on my hour trip home so that when I got home to my sister and my nephew, I was in a good mood. And no matter how much negative I dealt with at work, when I came home, all I had was love to give because those negative thoughts that were sitting there, I erased by having a positive conversation with someone that I did love for an hour to the point where those negative thoughts, yeah, I remember them. They existed at one point, but they're not sitting on every moment of what I do next to where I create more negative experiences for myself.
I also read something about, for example, your outer world is a reflection of what's happening on inside. It really it spoke to me. So like it could be also what you say there. Like if you keep on finding negativity all around you, you really have to maybe dig deep inside yourself and try to change that. Because like I mean, if your outer world is chaotic, it could be that the inner world is chaotic as well. If your outer world is peaceful, then your the inner world is peaceful. It really spoke to me that part. Like exactly like what you see in your outer world is what's happening on the inside.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what you were saying there as well, like exactly like what you experience all over is what's happening on the inside. So I guess if it really comes down to improving yourself, you might see the difference in the world as well, like reflecting on the outside. And people will start complimenting you more. You'll be like, what's happening? It's like because like you're starting to heal from the inside, and then it's starting to reflect on the outside. And yeah, I guess it all just comes down to what you're doing inside all the time. Like if you continue working on yourself, like take time every single day to work on yourself every single day. Like if it's with people or alone, you have to do it. You have to work on yourself because like that way you'll be a better person for yourself and for the world. And you could be like Mahatma Gandhi said it, like be the change you want to see in this world, and then you'll start inspiring people by the change or by the example that you are.
Yeah. It's funny because like the best way to see like your internal thoughts projected into the world around you is like when you are driving in traffic with cars around you, think about the thoughts that you put on other people around you in cars that have nothing to do with you. You're all driving trying to get somewhere. You're not on that road to piss someone else off. You're on the road to get to a destination. But how many negative thoughts some people can place on someone? So, say someone merges in front of you, and someone will go, oh, slow down a little bit, let them in. Other people will be like, hell no, you're not getting in front of me. Like, and they're like, oh, look at this guy, cut me off, pissing me off. I'm like, did they cut you off to like purposely do that to you? Or did they need to get over and they just happened to merge over because at this moment in time there was that gap open in front of you? And it's like in those moments realize what, because it's projected on all the things, and I've ridden in people's cars with them where they're like, that fucker just cut me off, and I'm like, or it's just an old lady in her car trying to get to the grocery store before it closes, and she's just having a good old day jamming out to her music. Like, you can create whatever world you want because it doesn't matter. Those realities don't exist. You're creating it. So it's like, are you going to create it as this jerk cut me off? Or are you going to create it in a positive way that this happy person is just driving around just like you? And it's crazy how people will like add meaning to things that have no meaning at all. And it's just like, notice that. Like, notice where your brain goes in those moments because that tells you where your negative and positive thoughts are today.
Exactly. it comes down to how you respond to adversity. Like, because remember, adversity is present throughout the day, everywhere. Like, yeah, when we spoke about the inner world and the outer world, yeah, like, there will be moments where things will go wrong. Like, it doesn't mean that there's chaos with inside of you. It's just like adversity will always be present. It's you have to get used to it, but how you respond to adversity is the big question. Like, that determines what will happen next for you. And then coming back to like the traffic as well, I think like each person as well, that should be I think psychologists should study that more. Like each person have their driver's personality as well. I've seen like you'll find like someone that's a little bit more peaceful, and when they're out in traffic, like there's this other personality coming out, and you find the ones that are that's like that normally, and then like when the traffic is really bad, oh my, it's like that personality times 10. So yeah, the traffic is a really good example that you used. It's a very good way to look at or study how people respond to adversity. It's a very good way because anything can go wrong within that moment because you don't have control over the situation. Like you don't know what's happening with each person that's driving on the road in their car. Like anything could happen. So yeah, it's really that's really it's a topic that needs to be studied more. But just the way you respond to adversity during that moment is really important. Like being able to control your emotions, because I mean, if you're going to end up cursing someone in that moment, like what good will that do to you and that other person? Like that will just like put you in a bad mood, and it will just mess up your day further.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I was in the car with people, and I'm the type of person that I let people in front of me. Like if I see that a red light is coming up, and I'm like, you know what? It's a red light. We're going to be stopped here anyway. So I'll stop further back so that more people can get in front of me because I'm like, you never know who's going to let them in front of them. Maybe the next 10 cars behind me don't care. And I'm just like, you know what? It's not going to get me anywhere, like sooner or later if I do or do not let these people in front of me. And it's so interesting because even on a stressful day, like say I've got to be somewhere in 15 minutes and my GPS is like, there's an accident ahead. My mind goes to, I wasn't meant to get to that location at the time I thought I was supposed to. The world and universe is stopping me at this moment here for a specific reason. Don't stress about it. Listen to some happy music and enjoy the moment because there's nothing I can do. Me getting stressed and angry in my car does not make that accident ahead of me disappear. I'm going to enjoy the moment because I need to get to a place. Like for me personally, with my positive talks, there have been some that start late. There have been some that got canceled, and I go, you know what? It's going to start when it's supposed to start. If it needs to be postponed to another day, it wasn't meant to happen this day. Because if I allowed myself to get angry about that, it defeats the purpose of the positive talk or the thing that I'm supposed to be doing anyway. I don't want to show up in the world angry, and people need to kind of like take note of how they show up in the world and what they allow that's out of their control to impact the things that is perfectly in their control, which is mindset and the way that they react to the events around them.
What could also help with how you deal with adversity throughout the day is, for example, your morning routine. For example, before you go out and meet the world, depends on what your schedule is, what your work is. Like, for example, what I do is when I wake up, the first thing I do is I meditate for about 10 minutes. And after I finish my meditation, I write a list of everything I'm grateful for. And I'm kind of practicing manifesting at the moment as well. So I push that one in as well in the morning because I guess that's one of the best time to manifest in the morning before everything starts, so you can enter your day with that kind of energy. And then I read what whichever book I'm reading at that moment. I read, and then I listen to a couple of like videos that depends on what I was struggling with the previous day or how I feel in that moment. And then I just watch a couple of videos that can help me just to boost my motivation. And this all happens within an hour. Like I'm doing all of this within an hour, and then I start my day. And then I guess by if you have like some kind of a routine in the morning that like helps you uh, go through the day relaxed. Doesn't even matter like if adversity pops up, you be like, okay, let's see if we can call this person, or let's do this and let's do this. Like the way you respond to the way you would resolve the problem, it really depends on what happened in the morning. For example, if you wake up late and you rush to work or you rush to wherever you have to go, that already, yeah, you already messed up the schedule there. Like, and you have to, after like you, because that's when you like go into traffic and the traffic is holding you up, and then the whole chain of negativity starts. So I guess just try to be really in control in the morning. Like in the morning, if you have control within that, the first hour after you wake up, you have control over that. I forgot to say as well, make your bed as well. Very important. Make your bed before you leave, or uh, it's
Don't
also
look at my
important.
bed.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like the first task of the day, and then you have. It feels like you're in control of your day because you already completed the first task of the day. So I guess like it starts there. Like the morning routine determines the whole your attitude throughout the whole day.
Yeah. And I think that when it comes to taking the control and power of your day, like if you wake up late and you know that the true cause that's causing you stress is that it's going to make someone at work or someone that you had plans with upset, the best thing to do is just call that person, communicate that something is no longer going to happen the way that it's expected to happen today, and give yourself that communication line to respectfully show someone that you know that you being late is showing disrespect to them in that moment, but you respected them enough to give them a heads up that you're going to be late, so that you now are not stressed about their reaction of when you're going to get there, so that you at least have the peace of mind. You've created that peace of mind in that moment and said, they already know I'm going to be late. I'm going to get things done. Maybe there's a few steps that I can skip this morning that don't need to be done since I don't have time to do it, but still do all the things that you need to get done and just run as smoothly as possible. Don't drive fast in traffic, because a chaotic mind driving through traffic quickly, you don't see the things that need to be seen. You could hit someone, you could be in an accident, drive past a cop that you didn't see. Like, calming the mind, like, call the person, say, I'm sorry I'm going to be late, then meditate to calm the mind again so that the chaos doesn't keep spinning. Because like you said, that negative thought contributes to a lot of other things that happen. And there have been so many times where like I woke up late and then I forgot something and then I got caught in traffic and then like I ran through a red light. Like all these things were happening that had I refocused and calmed my mind before, probably would have been perfectly fine. But I let chaos start my day and it just snowballed into something a lot worse than it probably would have.
For me, sometimes when that happens, like it has come to a point where we're like, is this the best you've got? Give me more. And I kind of challenge the situation. I've had those days, especially like living in Mexico City. Traffic is not one. It's not really a positive mood booster, to say it mildly. So you really have to be very strong with regards to the traffic. And when you're late, yeah, the traffic is not going to help you. You're gonna be late, more late, and so like when it comes to down to situations like that, I'll just be like, give me more. Is this the best you've got? Like like I'm ready for you. Come on.
Oh no.
And then I that's how I handle the situation.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
the beginning, I used to like curse and like ask her, why is this happening? Like I did everything right, and now I'm just like, yeah. I'm ready for you. You think that you're gonna get me? No, I've got this.
Yeah,
Got this under control. I
yeah,
put humor into situations now, and I think that actually helps me. It really helps me because then like you end up laughing about something that went wrong. You're like, okay, fine. How can I solve this? Because like in the moment you start laughing as well, you start producing serotonin, and then yeah, you become like your mood changes again because like you're in a different mood and a different state of mind. But if you end up being angry about what happened, yes, it's just gonna take you to another place and another state of mind that might not help you resolve the situation within that moment.
yeah. And we're all energy sources contributing our energy to the people around us. And if you're bringing negative energy, like that's what you're contributing to your day. And everyone
And you'll
feeds off
attract
of it.
more. You'll
And it's
attract
just,
more of it. Yeah, the law of attraction is real. Like you attract what you are, and sometimes they say that I'm still trying to understand that like you don't normally attract what you want. You attract what you are and what you think you deserve. So like if you're negative in that moment, you will attract more negativity.
yeah. And like the universe doesn't understand, like, I don't, because your brain focuses so much on something that even if you're saying I don't want this, like your brain and the universe is vibrating that energy so strong
Exactly.
that
You
it just
also attract
pulls
what
it.
you don't want. Exactly. That's also like because there's no rules. Like you attract what you also don't want. So be careful about what you don't want because you might end up attracting that as well.
And that's why like
It's such a
people
tricky thing.
that's why like powerful people that kind of come off as like douchebags, like they're like really powerful, really rich, or they in their mindset have already agreed with the universe that they deserve everything that they want. And it's the people who are more humble or afraid of being cocky that their mind is like, oh well, I don't deserve this, someone else deserves more than I do, and the universe gives them exactly what they asked
Exactly.
for.
Exactly. That happened to me. That happened to me, especially um, when I entered the modeling industry, the whole entertainment industry, and I was being introduced to a lot of big jobs, and I had value issues in the beginning because like I was paid the budgets were big for just a day's job or just for a couple of hours, or you'd be there on set, but then they would only need you for if you put the whole time together, like it will be 20 minutes right now, and you can go and rest. It will be another 10 minutes. It also depends on how skillful you are. Like if you give them what they want, or you understand what the concept is, that also helps because you could end up going the whole days while repeating the same thing if you don't give them what they want. But yeah, I had that problem in the beginning. I remember my first big job, and I was so excited, also thinking that I deserve it, but I also don't deserve it. I was in between. But then I went to the job because I got it, and then I was like, yeah, this is your opportunity. Go and take it. And then throughout the whole job, like I was there like ready, you know, with for the budget. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to give everything because like, I guess for this budget I have to do a lot. No, I just had I it was a commercial for a big a big pizza franchise company here. And all we had to do was like I had my scene. I just had to like look at the camera and smile. And I didn't even eat a pizza. I was ready to eat the pizza as well. But I didn't even have to eat it. And so, because it's kind of tricky when you have to eat something in front of the camera. So that's a little tricky situation. But
Yeah.
okay, I prepared myself, and then we did a couple of retakes about that scene, looking up to the camera, smiling, and I had to do something on a phone. And then they were like, okay, you're done for now. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm waiting for the next scene because I guess I have to do a lot more. And then after we just did some couple of photos for social media that was just like just being yourself and fun and cool, and they said done. It's like, but I didn't even work. And then and that was actually the first test of life that came down to what you deserve and what you don't deserve, and what you feel you think, what you feel you deserve. And then like I started working on my self-value issues from there onwards. And ever since then, like, yeah, I've been attracting a lot of big opportunities into my life because I've changed what I think about myself and what I think I deserve.
Yeah.
It took me some time. Yeah, it took time, like, to get to that level, and I still approach a lot of people that struggle with that, and I approach a lot of people that has what would you say, like, that has they've achieved to to believe in themselves and get to the next level where they believe in themselves and what they deserve. They've, like, literally yeah, they passed that step, and I'm learning from them, and I'm also trying to teach the ones that I see, because I can pick it up, because I used to be like that, and I can pick it up, and I always just try to give advice where I can, and I hope that would go a long way.
Yeah, and it's crazy to watch the transition because I do coaching, so I literally see people who don't believe that message, like they don't think that the universe gives you what you think you deserve. And I'm like, well, let's take a good look at your life right now and see if it's reflective of what you think you deserve. And a lot of times they're like, no, I deserve more. And then when I start asking them questions, you start to find where they don't believe that. They say that. They're like, yeah, I do. I believe this. But then when they start speaking and answering the questions, there's a lot of I don't deserve this. I haven't done this. I don't like these people have done so much more. There are people who have struggled a lot more than I have. I don't have the right to complain. Like all of these don'ts and things exist in their world of being that they don't realize that that's the message that they're projecting. So maybe someone believes in you so much that they get you into a place that you deserve, that you don't think you deserve, but the world sees it somehow. But then you go there and you just feel so out of place and you feel like you don't deserve to be there. That energy will prevent another opportunity like that from happening. But if you just embrace it and go, I deserve this. I deserve love. I deserve money. I deserve to be here. You will see more of it just start falling onto your plate. And then sometimes we'll slip back into that negative mindset and you'll start to see opportunities start to disappear. And it's because something has triggered another negative mindset of I don't deserve. And you just have to constantly train your brain to accept love from other people. Like I ask people all the time, I'm like, why are you single? And to hear some of the things that people say, I'm like, no, that's not it. That's not the reason there. You're single because you literally tell people you don't want a relationship. Like you've already said, like I'm waiting for the right person. Okay, like what are you doing with that? Are you who's the right person? Do you know? And I'll like describe the right person, and they're like, well, I don't want them to have this, and I don't really want someone. And I'm like, oh, so this is what we're attracting, all the don'ts. And I'm just like, listen, like it's so interesting because I don't share with them beforehand all the things I'm listening for, but like it's crazy that we do that. And thankfully I've had a lot of friends lately that point mine out because I do it as well. Like no, none of us are perfect, but it's crazy the things that we've done that are preventing us from finding exactly what we know we want, but we've convinced ourselves we don't deserve it.
Exactly. This You nailed it there. Exactly. Like, you end up attracting what you also don't want, and you have to be careful about that. Be careful about what you don't want as well, because the universe will give you what you want and what you don't want. But it's so tricky as well. It's so tricky as well because, like, well, I have to know what I also don't want. Like, it's important for me, in order for me to not, when it happens, you're like, oh, I I didn't realize that I didn't want this. But when you know what you don't want, it kind of, when it happens, like, if it's a red flag, it pops up in a relationship. You're like, yeah, no, I don't like this, and then I'm not going to condone this further onwards. But then it's so tricky as well, because then you could have attract that as well, because you just end up thinking about what I don't want, and you end up attracting that. it's really something like if you understand that more, because I'm also a little bit, I'm sometimes I struggle with that a little bit as well. Like, you know, not just to focus on what I want, but I also to know what I don't like. But not, yeah, I'm not giving that a lot of thought as well, that, you know, giving it a lot of energy, because I understand that you will attract that to yourself as well. But I guess knowing as well what you don't want is important. It's like
So
maybe there's a thin line there. It's
so
it's
when it
very
comes to, because like I think that it's important to see those red flags. It's important to know like, ooh, I don't like that. But the important thing is like how you flip that language. Like, yeah, I don't want that, but what do you want instead? So I don't want an angry, abusive boyfriend. I want a kind and loving, comforting boyfriend. So it's like, don't think about, okay, these are the red flags. I don't want this. I don't want that. Like, think of what's the positive of it? What's the other reality that you want instead? And focus your mind on that aspect of it. So don't tell people, oh, I had an abusive boyfriend. I don't want that again. Say, I've had relationships in the past, and what I'm looking for now is someone who is kind, loving, and accepting, and flip it to the positives so that that's what you're projecting. Because every negative has the alter ego of something positive on the other side.
exactly, exactly.
So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
you nailed it.
it's crazy how we do it because like yeah, it's really easy to focus on the things that we don't like and don't want to happen to us, but as long as that's the focus, that's exactly what we're attracting. And it's sad because I for the longest time struggled with the stereotype of the gay community is that everyone in the gay community just wants open relationships and they don't want to settle down, they don't want commitment. And I was just like, well, I don't want that. That's not what I want. And I kept saying, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. But what I was doing was creating this negative space around me. And literally, that was all I was finding. Like, every single person that I talked to and went on dates with, they're like, "Oh, I'm not really looking for like a boyfriend. Like, I'm more of a person who likes my options available."
Oh my God.
But then I switched to because I even it's funny, I made a YouTube video where I literally said, I don't want to make a list of things that I want in a person because I feel like someone will just play the script and try to fool me by pretending to be something that I just said I wanted. But what I was doing was listing off all the things I didn't want, and that's exactly what I kept finding. Instead, as soon as I switched to, well, what I really want is this, that's exactly what I started finding. And I just had to realize that I was not wanting to find it in a way that, because even when I did find it, I was like, they're being fake. They're pretending to be this because that's what I just told the universe I wanted. And I was like, if I hadn't have said anything, these people wouldn't have a script to pretend to be someone that they're not. And it's because I accepted the negative reality of the world as reality. And if someone didn't fit that, I rejected it and said it was fake and not real. So therefore, every single person who was real and wanted to love me and wanted a committed relationship, I was like, you're fake. But the people that I was like, yep, this is real. This is real life over here. I was like, yep, they don't want a committed relationship. That's real because that's what I accepted. But it's all about what you accept, and I wasn't accepting what I wanted, and that's bad. And a lot of us do it. We all do it. Even the
Well,
people
I
who have
think
trained.
the fact that you realized it, it's a step towards the right direction. So yeah, like you realize that I don't want open relationships, and then you started attracting open the people that want open relationships, and then you started focusing on, this is actually what I want. I would like a partner that's faithful to me, and I'll be faithful to this person. And then you started focusing on that a lot, and then I guess you would end up attracting that as well. Uh, Personally, when it comes to the open relationships as well. I'm still struggling to understand that as well. I not judging, just trying to understand it as well because like I yes, it's just the dynamics is a little different for me. And it's like okay, but I get it as well. I get it as like it's what works for whoever's in an open relationship. But yeah, I've never actually attracted that towards me, but I've seen it. I've got friends that are in open relationships, and I've seen how it works, and it's like okay, interesting. Yes,
Yeah.
it works for some people, like it work, and but personally for me, I would say that that doesn't work for me. That's not, yeah, that's not for me. Thank you.
And like the beautiful thing about it is you don't ever have to understand it. Like you do not have to waste any part of your day trying to understand what makes someone else happy. If it doesn't make you happy, then you don't have to
Exactly.
understand it. You just have to accept them for who they are, love them for who they are, and hope that you can love yourself for who you are and believe that someone else will do the same for you.
Well said. Well
Because
said.
at the end of the day, like, does it matter that the people next door to me in another apartment, if they are in an open relationship, does that impact my apartment? No. Does
No,
it does it impact my ability to go on a date and be with someone? Nope. Like it doesn't matter. So it's like love you all. I love that you're having a good time. I love that as long as you're doing it, like as a coach, I always tell people, I'm like, are you happy? Like if you're in an open relationship, are you happy? And if they say yes, then I'm like, then go for it. Like if you're happy, that's what
exactly,
we're all trying to find happiness. Go for it. I'm not going to
exactly.
tell you not to do it.
You do what makes you happy and allow the other people to do what makes them happy.
Yeah. As long as you're not hurting people, go for it.
The secret to being happy.
And just know that like sometimes, because like think about it with your like modeling, if you are performing on a stage, if you are casted for a role, that means someone else didn't get that spot. But you know what? You don't have to be sad that they didn't get it. You can be happy that you got that position. Like so many people will find the negative. There is always a positive and a negative reality to live in. You have to choose your happiness. So, yeah, like if you want to be negative, we can find it.
It's
But
there.
it's the
Yeah, you
same for
can.
positive.
It really just comes down to what you're focusing on. Like if you're focusing on the negativity or what's negative around you, you will find negativity around you. If you focus on positivity, you'll find it.
Yeah.
You really
And
just
like
find it.
people always challenge me with like death. They're like, "Where how is there a positive in death?" And I was like, there's lots of people still alive. Like you no longer have this moment to tell someone else how much you love them or how much they mean to you. Make sure that the people who are alive know how much you love them and how much they mean to you. Like I'm not asking you to turn an event that is sad into something. I don't want you to sit there and celebrate that someone's dead, but you can choose to celebrate the lessons you learned from them. You can celebrate the life that they lived on this earth while they were here. You're not celebrating the sad moment of death. You're celebrating their journey and everything that they gave to the world. Like there's ways to make anything like less painful than the way that we make it. Like death happens and the way you choose to see it will impact you for the rest of your life. Like I've lost people who should still be here. And every day I think about the gifts that they gave me through their friendship, through their love, like, and I thank God that I had that because that's who I am today. That person is a part of me today, and that will live on forever. And it's okay to celebrate that and still be sad that you no longer have them here to add to that, but you can celebrate the like movement forward and what you will give to the world because of them.
exactly. Yeah, I guess like if you look at it from that point of view, like it doesn't have to be that horrific and sad when there's a death within a family or a family or a friend that died. You could still be sad, like you lost the person, but you could also um, find the positive side of the situation. For example, like that will teach you now, just like you said, to tell the people who is still alive in your life that you really value and appreciate how much you value and appreciate and love these people, and exactly just allow maybe the death of this particular person to make you a better person, like because there's always a lesson in death as well, always, like we always taught a lot of lessons through death.
Yeah. That's how we operate as human beings. We're constantly learning. If you think you've gotten to a point where you've learned it all, you're wrong.
No,
Yeah.
it's about being a student every single day, every single day.
And when you meet the love of your life, the love of your life is going to grow and change every day. So make it part of your day to learn and grow with them. Make it this fun, beautiful thing. And like you, no one belongs to you. It is a forever journey that you're going to make with this person. And it's all about loving yourself so that you can continue to pour out to the world all the love that you have, and realize that just because you gave someone tons of love yesterday, it doesn't carry over to the next day. Like keep going.
No,
Like
no, that doesn't count. Like today's it's a new day. You gotta do it all over again. Like you can't be going on what happened yesterday or last week. It's about today. Like basically, what we have is just today as well. If you look at and analyze the situation as well, we just have the day. Like just make the most of the day. Like you can't be tripping over yesterday. Like it's today now. How am I gonna make this better today?
yeah. And like relationships, there have been so many people like, well, they know I love them. And I'm like,
No, you
well,
gotta show it to them. They know it, but you gotta show it to them every single day.
yeah,
Keep it
because
alive.
our
Like
brains
keep
play
on
the trick
keep
on
on
us.
watering the plant, or like keep on giving it love. Like that's how it flourishes.
I love the plant one. It's just like, oh, I watered it 10 years ago. Like, it doesn't need water anymore. Like, oh, okay. I don't want to see your garden if that's how you show people love. Like, awesome.
Well,
Well,
do you think we should take some questions? Are there people that have questions here?
yeah, if you can you see any questions there?
No, it's but I guess it's because we didn't ask them. Like, or you go ahead.
Yeah, if there are any questions that you all have, or if something that we said is making you feel some uncomfortable tension, like you think that we're talking nonsense, feel free to put something in the comments because I love that.
Oh, we've got a question there. What nationality is Rowan? I'm from Namibia, a country that's located southwest of Africa. We're neighbors with Angola, Botswana, and South Africa.
And he's in Mexico now.
And now I'm staying in Mexico. Yeah, I've been here for 5 years.
Love it. Yeah, I feel like that's like one of the questions. Like my grandmother, she traveled the world a lot, and she thought this was a fun thing to do, like guessing people's nationalities. But as I grew up, I kind of realized how offensive that probably came across to people, because my grandmother not only would guess people's nationalities, but she would also point out why she believed they were a certain nationality. And I was just like, that could be a little offensive to people.
Yeah. Does your grandmother stay with you there in Virginia?
She's in Northern Virginia, so
Okay.
yeah,
Is your family also big as well?
she 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 had like this huge world map in her study where she would put little pins and all the places that she's visited around the world. It's like she definitely knew a lot of people, but like I think there was a little bit of a thing where she didn't fully understand people as well. She met a lot of people, but she didn't fully understand a lot of people.
Have you been to Africa?
I have not. My grandmother
Well,
has.
well, you have to plan a trip to to wherever you would like to go because like it's very big. There's more than 52 countries.
Yeah, I've I've always wanted to travel, and like it's crazy. Every single time that I've like gotten the opportunity to travel, something crazy has happened. Like in 2020, I was supposed to do like Iceland, I was supposed to do Europe, I was supposed to do like France and Italy and Germany, the UK, and then the pandemic happened. And I was like, of course, this is what would happen on the year I was supposed to travel.
Yeah, we we were all caught by surprise by that one. We were all caught
Yes.
by surprise.
And I know Billy's in Australia. That's been like, I actually dated someone who was from Australia, and I was like, yes, I'm finally gonna get to go to Australia. I'm gonna meet his family. And then I was just like, oh, dang it, that didn't work. But now
It
I've
didn't
got Billy.
happen because of the pandemic.
The relationship ended at the beginning of 2020, so
Okay. Can you hear me properly? Because like it's starting to rain here, and I'm literally at the window.
I can kind of hear a little bit of the rain, but I can still hear
Okay.
you perfectly fine. But
I'm
yes,
coming up, Billy. Okay.
I'm
Everyone is just
so down for traveling to Australia. I definitely want to go to Africa. I personally really want to go to Egypt. Like I've always had like this deep fascination with like Egyptian like mythology, and I would love to like get to go to all like the pyramids and stuff over there. That's definitely on my to-do list. And South Africa, like all of those pictures look so beautiful there. I would love to go. There's like that beautiful waterfall down there that I really want to see. It will happen. This pandemic
yeah.
can't last forever.
You're breaking away a little bit. Okay, yeah, I got you now. I got you.
Awesome. Well, I see that we've gone past an hour, so if there's no more
We've gone past
questions,
the hour. Okay.
yeah.
as as always.
I could talk forever, so I have to cut myself off eventually, or I'll sit on a live for the rest of my life.
No, but it was really nice to have the live with you. Thank you for inviting me again.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with me. It's always a pleasure to listen to your life stories and your students and everyone that you've been coaching and what's happening in your life. And I really had a great time sharing my personal experience as well. And I hope what I contributed or shared in the live will help other people as well. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing it as well. And I absolutely love hearing your perspective. You come from such a beautiful, knowledgeable space, and I love like kind of hearing you kind of walk through the journey of any type of topic. So I'm glad that you were able to do it on Valentine's Day, and we will definitely have to keep in touch and do another positive talk because I'm not stopping them anytime soon.
Thank you. Enjoy your Valentine's Day as well.
I'll try my best.
Bye.
Bye.